types of marriages in the Bible. The first one is the nuclear marriage. This is the standard, typical one man, one woman marriage that we know of today. However, these marriages weren't always just for love. A lot of times they were for making peace and treaties between kingdoms and stuff. However, for this, the sake of this part here, Genesis 2:24 is one man and one woman until Genesis continues on later. Then it becomes one man, multiple women. And then we have the levirate marriage. This is the one where the brother-in-law marries the widow if the brother has died. And then he's supposed to impregnate the widow afterwards. And according to the Bible, then this would be the seed of not him, but his brother. And these can last anywhere, or take anywhere up to like almost 7 years according to some, and it's still his dead brother's child. The other part about this is that, according to Genesis 38:6-10, which is what's shown up there, God will execute man for not impregnating the widow. However, there is a conflict in Deuteronomy 25:9-10. A man can refuse to marry the widow, and then he gets shamed by losing his shoe and getting spit on. So in this one here that's up on the screen, he can't refuse. But in Deuteronomy, apparently he can refuse. And then in this one, we have a man, several wives and concubines. And in this one, it is Abraham, and he was told to cast out his bondwoman and her son, which is his son. For the son of this bondwoman, she did not want him to be the heir with her son. And the issue is that he did cast her out, but then he had to take her back because God said so. And apparently under this, the Sarah could beat the slave. So basically what happens here is they couldn't conceive a child, so he raped his wife's slave and made her a wife, and then his actual other wife was jealous, so threw her out after beating her or something like that, and then they had to take her back. And then this one is a rapist and his victim. This is no joke. In Deuteronomy, if a man had lied with a girl that is a virgin and she's not betrothed or not married, and he lay hold on her and lie with her, and they're found, which of course means they're caught, then they have to get married. And he has to stay married to her all his days. The thing that this does not cover is that the woman does not get a choice. So basically, if a man rapes her, he has to marry her, but then he gets to continue to rape her. We have a man, a woman, and her property. So this means that if a man marries a woman and she has slaves or whichever, he can marry them. He can have sex with them all he wants to. Go to town. Yeah. So this is apparently a common theme of having sex with slaves throughout the Bible as well. And then a soldier and a female prisoner. So basically, they had to move in and kill all the men and kill all the women and kill all the male children, but they kept the female children alive. And then to do with as you please. So basically right here in this verse is the Bible saying, rape little children, rape little girls, it's okay. And against their will, and keep them. Furthermore, it actually gives description in Deuteronomy what to do with them. And that is 21:11-14. And it says to cut their hair, leave them for a month so that they can grieve, the family you just killed, and then go to them after a month and rape them basically. And if you liked it, you get to keep them around if you want to. But if you didn't like it, you just have to let them free to wither and die, is actually what it says. And you can't sell them because you've had sex with them. And so nobody's going to want them. So you can't prostitute them, and you can't sell them as a slave. And that is in Deuteronomy 21:11-14, also on this. And now we have the polygamous marriage. This is all over in the Bible. However, Lamech here is the first one with the polygamous marriage. almost many of the men in the Bible all have slaves and wives and multiple wives, and some of them up to 300 concubines in this that they're all sleeping with. So polygamous marriage is widely supported in the Bible. So this is your 7th type of marriage. Again, a lot of these are like packs of raped whores or something from the next village they conquered, or whatever else that they made into slaves or concubines or that, and wives too. And then a male slave and a female slave. Now this one is even more interesting. So a master can marry, or actually breed, but we'll use the term marry because this is a marriage in the Bible here, a female slave and a male slave. However, male slaves were usually freed after 7 years. So after their servitude, they got freed. However, female slaves that were sold as slaves were not, or sold into slavery, were not set free ever. So after that 7 years, the man had a choice. He either stayed with his family and remain a slave, or he had to leave his family. So not only were they married and have children, but those children belonged to the master as well. So when he became free, the men either stayed to be with their family, or and were slaves, or left. And of course then the marriage was annulled. So this is basically the Bible endorsing divorce here.